Yeah, well, so far, despite the rain that we have had today, it's been really good. I think Sweden is a country where you feel welcome since the moment you're here, because people is really, I have find people is really open and interested about your culture, your background, where are you from, what are you doing here. And in my case, coming from Dominican Republic, you don't find that often here. So everybody wants a little bit of the background. Tell me a little bit more about your country, how is like you end up in Sweden? That's a question you always get, but it's a different pace of what I'm used to. It's more organized, it's more quiet, and definitely you learn a lot just by being here, like how Sweden do things, and that's definitely one of the plus for of being in Sweden. Yes, well, I did a lot of research before coming here to Sweden because, as you can tell, coming from Dominican Republic is a far way to come. So I had to be sure that I wanted to be here. And one of the things I like the most about Lund is that it have a worldwide reputation. It's in the 100 best universities of the world, and you can actually tell that when you're here. Uh, the classes are very oriented to make you to teach you how to think in a critical way and in a creative way, and that's definitely a competence in today's business environment. And as well is a very student friendly environment. You're just not throw out there in a big city where everything is going so fast, but here you actually have time to stop and think about what you're doing and think about why you're studying and why you're doing that and what are you gaining from that. Every time there's a ranking, world ranking that comes out of the happiest countries on earth or the more equal countries, the more sustainable countries, Sweden is in one of the spots, maybe not the first, but then it's going to be there. So it's always, you always have heard about, in my case, I've always heard about Sweden as a country that's a role model, and that we actually, doesn't matter where you come from, you can learn something from Sweden, even if you don't like everything maybe, but there's things definitely you can take with you. So that's one of the things. I think I decide one of my biggest expectations to see how it's really happening here. How is it being here and looking at it from here, not from the outside? As well, I've always been interested in the landscapes of Sweden, such a big country that have many outdoors that you can explore. And as I was talking to a friend the other day, the forest is never far, so you can walk around, finish your studies, and then you walk around to your house, and then you can stop by the forest, or in the weekend you can get a hiking getaway. And in my case, I really like the outdoors, so also was something that I was really looking forward in Sweden. That's a tricky question. I still don't know. In my case, I really would like to work in a agency or a consultancy, communication consultancy group, because I think when you're starting a profession in communication, the fact that you are not still maybe working in a big company since the beginning, but working in an agency or in a consultancy give you the opportunity to see how different projects are developed and how you can take a project from maybe multinational, but then an NGO, but then a governmental organization, and shape it and help them achieve their communication goals. Yeah, actually, that well, one of the first thing will be do everything with time, because then you leave it for later and you have a lot of paper to submit, and then if you don't do it when you're supposed to do it, then it's not going to have the quality that the university expects. And I have to say, they have very high standards. So not everybody gets in the program. You really have to work for it and make a good personal statement and submit all your papers. But as well, that by the time you are accepted in the master, actually start to focus on and try to find out what is that you really like about communication, because communication is a very broad field that you can do a master just by having a master in strategic communication. You still have to realize what are you interested in and what is that you want to focus on in strategic communication. So once you're here, you can actually focus your work and focus the thing you write about in that field that you are interested, and that will actually make you a better professional and will shape your career in a longer term.